Yes. Two goals of Eastern wisdom: end of suffering. What is suffering? Insecurity, dissatisfaction, and unhappiness. That includes our anxiety, fear, hesitation, reaction, duality, conflict. Mind is crazy, lazy, and obsessed. Second goal is to awaken, to realize. What to realize? That peace is me, happiness is me, love and wisdom is me. That is the goal. So, based on these two goals, when you reach there, leave everything. And if you are not there, we have to continue the practice. This is what all our 3000 masters repeated the same principle again and again. So I know it. No, no, I have a confidence in you. You are a teacher. It will not work. Don't have a confidence on me or any teacher. Do you have a confidence on you? Are you aware that you are living in peace and happiness 24 by 7? You have to look at yourself because it is a journey of the self discovery. It is not a journey of other discovery. Oh, you are a good teacher or a great teacher or a small teacher or you are a crazy teacher. It will not work. Final goal is the end of suffering. I'm taking a higher principle. No, I always take higher principle in every session. Why? I have a chance to go down. If I take the lowest principle, there is no chance. And if you do not understand. So I always take in every session the highest principle. We have been talking of so many principles and practices. I don't remember. You have to remember in order to change. And once you reach there, leave all the principles. You want to reach to some destination, you put the GPS. So you keep the GPS on after reaching the destination. Understand it clearly. We don't need any principle at all once we are there. But to teach, I need principles. And to learn in the beginning, we need principles. And I have covered that topic how many times to repeat to remember all the principles. I told you 21 times is minimum. Minimum to the highest level of a seeker. You are a highest level of a seeker, you repeat 21 times. It is absorbed into your intellect, the knowledge is realized, done. If not, ask yourself, why? No, I'm busy and awful. It will not work. The very busyness is removed completely once you understand the principle. You may be a CEO, you may be Bill Gates. The very state of the mind that is busyness is gone once and for all. You are relaxed. Huh? I'm picking up a couple of the principles. Let me know you are not busy. Are you busy? No, I'm busy listening to you. You have destroyed the entire journey. Now we come to the topic, what is real self? In order to know, real self is other than three bodies. Real self is other than the five sheaths. So it means the real self is beyond the three bodies, beyond the five sheaths. We will also cover it is beyond all the three states. Now understand one thing more clear, why we start with the negation process. Why I should know what I am not. Because we got mixed up. There is a mixture of what I am and what I am not in our daily thought, speech, and action. So unless we reject, where we have to reject? We have to reject in the mind, as in knowledge. So when we reject, we are not the three bodies, we are not the five sheaths. By discernment and dispassion, then we can get some glimpse of it. My master one day he said, you see that, think, visualize that your right arm is separate from you. It is cut. Now where are you? Are you in the right arm or are you in the rest of the body? Where are you? That proves I'm not the body. Both are bodies. And both are, and the rest of the body is not me. I continue to exist whether the arm is with me or not, or separated. Now the next question comes. Okay, you say that we are not the three bodies. Okay, understood. We are not the five sheaths. Then I want to see where I am. I want to see where I am. I pointed out to Terry when she struggled with the two eye. One eye was asking where I am, if you remember. Think of this. Did I get some idea that where I am? No, okay, I understood that I'm not the three bodies. I'm not the three bodies. I'm not the five sheets. Very good. I understood that. Then where I am? Have you ever thought of this question? So there are. It is known as there are seven great superstars. Superstar means there are seven great masters who promoted them, who taught the entire Eastern wisdom tradition, and from the seven masters, and then many masters came. So one master gives the story, the 10th man story. Do you remember that? I covered that 2 years ago. 10th man story. So there were 10 students, seekers, who were learning under a teacher in a monastery. So one day they asked the teacher they want to go to the village and have a trip. On the way they found, so master said that every time, wherever you go, you have to count that 10 seekers are intact. I'm answering, who am I? Still, after understanding that we are not the three bodies and we are not the five sheaths, there is a problem. So on the way, they found a river, they crossed the river, and all the 10 seekers started counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They did not count them. Oh, only nine students. One person is drowned in the river. What should we do? So every seeker counted except himself. You have to understand the very knowledge part. You have to understand the very awareness in that. That is how these parables are created. So one monk was passing by and he saw that they were struggling to find where is the 10th man. So he said, I will tell you. No issue, I'll tell you. So he picked up one seeker and he said, start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You see, the mind is outside. And the monk turned his finger to himself. Here is the 10th. Oh, you found the 10th. You found the 10th. In order to understand that, all the 10 seekers have a tremendous faith in the monk. Oh, no, oh, you say that, we'll have that. So that faith, that belief pending inquiry is required in the journey of self-discovery. So now what is the message here? Message is so simple that this mind is always searching, who am I in the world outside? And I'm not in the world. The world is different and separate from me. So unless this mind turns inward, it becomes aware, you know your real self. From the day we are born, our mind expected mother to feed us the milk, change the wet bed, and that mind stored the impression that pleasure and happiness comes from outside. That is why our parents gave us the toys to be happy, storybooks to be happy. And then we developed our I. That false I is constantly expecting, wanting, craving peace and happiness outside, which is not there. That is why we follow the negation process. Can we change the direction of the mind from outside to inside? We are going deeper. Now, in every session, I told you that we are going deeper. We have understood that we experience the three bodies. We also discover and understand the five sheaths. Who we are then? We are present all the time. So here the master says, we are not the experiences. We are an experiencer. Did you get it? That is the answer. We are none of these experiences. Any experience I have is separate and different from me. That is not me. Pain, pleasure, attachment, detachment, victory and defeat, profit and loss. Any experience you have is not you. So, 10th man, he was experiencing 9 people. He was not pointing himself to himself. That who is knowing all the 9 people? So, there the master says, knower is always a subject different from the known and object. I cannot become, that real self can never become an object of my experience. Are you getting it? It can never become. I know the mouse, but I'm not the mouse. So simple. I know you, but I'm not you. So the conclusion the master gives, whatever I know, whatever in the world I know, I am not. Mind says I'm in stress, I'm not. See that? Mind says I am honey, I'm not. Honey is a label. It doesn't mean that I should leave honey. It means that I should allow the real self to express, play a role of honey. Done. See another example. Objects are there outside. Our sense organ knows the object, but the object cannot know the sense organ. Mouse cannot know the my eyes. I'm conscious being. This is material. So you see, one master beautifully says that you can be in the highest state of meditation here and now. I know the mouse means through my eyes, backed by the sense organ, but the mouse does not know the sense organ. Any object outside cannot know the real self. That is why we say the mind has to be empty. There must be a total emptiness in the state of nothingness. Now go back. Object cannot know the sense organ. Now see, sense organ cannot know the mind. Mind is the knower. Are you getting it? Mind is the knower. Sense organ cannot know the mind. Who is the knower cannot be known by the object that I know. Mouse cannot know the senses. Senses cannot know the mind. Mind cannot know the intellect. Intellect cannot know the ego. Ego cannot know the last point, real self. That is why majority of the masters say that we should be in the state of emptiness of the, because if there is no emptiness, there is an object. I'm caught in there. Still not that. Now the same master we are learning from on Saturdays in another chapter, he gives another clue. Sugar plus milk. Sugar lends its sweetness to the milk, and that is why the milk becomes sweet. Do you agree? Sugar lends its sweetness in the milk, and milk becomes sweet. Sugar lends its sweetness into the water becomes sweet. Clear? Yes, clear. Now sugar lends the sweetness to a sugar. Am I crazy? Yes. This is total craziness. Essential nature of a sugar is sweet. So to make the sugar sweet, I need not to add sugar. Did you understand this metaphor? Let us apply this metaphor. Consciousness plus milk. Milk is known. Consciousness plus brandy. Brandy is known. Example. Consciousness plus David. David is known. Consciousness plus TV. TV is known. Oh, so I have to add consciousness to know myself? I am consciousness. I am consciousness. I need not to add consciousness into the same consciousness to know myself. What a beautiful metaphor this master gives. That consciousness is the knower, that seer, that is the real self. That is why we say we are not the three bodies, we are not the five sheaths. Consciousness plus the physical body is known. Consciousness plus the subtle body is known. Consciousness plus the causal body is known. How do I know the causal body? When I say I don't know, it is causal body. It is ignorance. I know something and I do not know something. Behind that, there is a consciousness. That is why I claim I do not know and I know. In both the cases. I know more self more than my honey. And the blame, complaint, and reaction starts. What is the point we are making? That the knower is independent. Known is always dependent. Let the mouse be kept wherever it is kept. If the knower is not there, you do not know it is mouse. Known depends on the knower. The knower does not depend on anything. Whether the mouse is there, I'm still there. Mouse is not there, I'm still there. That is what the consciousness is. That is what the knower is. We are just moving in a little higher journey. Now, this master, which we are studying on Saturdays, I remember he says that he chides us by saying how shameful it is for a person to utter loudly. What to utter loudly? I do not hear, but I know I heard you abuse me. I do not feel any temperature, but covers myself with a blanket. Are you getting it? Little subtle, but not very subtle. I do not have a tongue, but I'm speaking. That proves that I have a tongue. That is ignorance. So this master says, I'm not saying. So don't start becoming angry over me. He says it should be Consider shameful if a person with a tongue still goes ahead and makes such a statement. It simply means I'm not able to become aware of my awareness. In order to know our real self, that is pure consciousness, we cannot use or bring another consciousness because there are no two conscious. Do you see that? I told you 21 times minimum if you are the highest level of a seeker. Why should I say if? You all are highest level of seeker. That is the reason our master says you have to turn the mind inward to reveal the real self. This week, you could just work on simple thing. Mind says, I know this object, this person, this event, this situation. Okay. So just remind your mind consciousness plus object, consciousness plus situation. That is how I know the event outside. So there are two things consciousness plus object. Remove the object. You are there. You have found yourself. I introduced this principle in the very beginning. We have to cover the three states. We are none of these three states. We are not the five sheaths. We are not the three bodies. And then what is left is me. There is another process. You go on negating, rejecting. What you cannot reject is you. Can you reject you are here and now? No way. No way to reject that. And that is consciousness. So when we say the false, that means it depends on something outside. It is not independent. Consciousness plus mouse, I know the mouse. Consciousness plus functioning of the mouse, that is how I know the functioning of the mouse. That is why I use the word I know how this mouse works. Take the mind back behind. Who is this I? That I is the real self here and now. Here and now. Can I see it? No. Eye sense organs are not the perfect instrument to see the real self. I gave an example. Every instrument of knowledge gives one type of knowledge. Do you remember? Yes, I remember. Say yes. Simple. What that means? My eyes cannot hear or taste. It gives you only one type of knowledge. That is it. It cannot give you other types of knowledge. Ears can give you the knowledge of the sound only. It cannot give you the knowledge of seeing, name and the form. Are you there with me? Yes. I'm always with you. So Eastern wisdom is an instrument of knowledge by which we know the real self. Telescope, you see the stars, you cannot see the cells. Always give that example. The electron microscope cannot see the stars. It can find out if there is a COVID virus or not, but it cannot see the stars. Now I will use the electron microscope to see the physical body. That is the wrong notion. That is the ignorance. So the journey is like this. What is real self? We are not the three bodies, we are not the five sheaths, and we are not the three states. And then what is left is me, is consciousness, independent, anything and everything. Whether the body is there or not, consciousness is. Three bodies are there or not, consciousness is. Five sheaths is there or not, consciousness is. So that is why it is all pervading. That is why it is immanent. That is why it is eternal. Think this week, contemplate and reflect. Let us close our eyes and start with what